I was thinking about getting a computer, a new laptop. Hot chocolate coffee. And I have one of those old Windows 10s, maybe 11. I don't know. I would describe it as ancient and annoying. That's a fun term. Kind of sounds like my future husband. Ancient and annoying, but somehow lovable. Like a man who complains about every restaurant and has one specific chair that only he's allowed to sit in, nobody else. Mm. And mutters about the weather. It's too hot. Oh, it's a lot of rain out there, huh? My grandpa used to call it liquid sunshine when it was raining. But somehow he always made me feel better when I was upset. And he had strong opinions about different kinds of food, television shows, his children, my mom, aunts, uncles. He had at least one flashlight that was so expensive that nobody was allowed to use but him. And he acted very inconvenienced anytime he had to run to the store for some trivial little thing that my grandmother asked for, or if he needed to go to Farm and Fleet to pick up supplies for the yard or whatever he's building or working on that day. Grandpa used to make popcorn. He had a popcorn popper kind of like that one. And I'd stand in the doorway and watch him pop popcorn and talk about different things with them, sleds that I might want, people that annoyed me. We both found people to be pretty annoying in general. But that popcorn that he made, it's like once a week was a trip to the movies with him, even though it was just in our living room. That was our special little ritual. A Friday night, Saturday night, just one night a week having popcorn. This shirt used to belong to my grandpa, and he'd put it on, and sit down in his favorite chair. He'd lean back, put his heels into the carpet, button up his shirt, his shirt sleeve. He always had a little package of Trident gum or Hall's cough drop in his little shirt pocket over here. This one on this side, it's on the left side. But he'd pop up the popcorn and he'd put some in a small bowl and some in a big bowl, and he'd hand me the small bowl and say, "Here, kid, have some popcorn." That's the kind of stuff that sticks with you forever because it's a way of showing love without making it a big emotional speech. And it was perfect. Like a full emotional support system in one sentence. And I just wanted to share that emotion, that memory with you. you know, it wasn't just popcorn. Those things end up meaning so much because it's that little ritual that you have, that feeling of grounded, complete connection, and that way of making things just feel safe and cozy and normal. Well, that's my grandpa story. And this used to belong to my grandpa too, John Ford. He'd sit down at the table and he'd count up all of his coins. He'd have piles of nickels and pennies and dimes and quarters. He'd sort out whatever amount that I'd get for my allowance. I was about 4 or 5 years old. And then he'd sit there and one by one put a coin in the little back of his little big boy bank, chewing his gum or chomping at a cough drop. Hall's brand. That was the only brand he'd buy. Everything else, it wasn't real. It wasn't any good. Well, let me know a little bit about your grandparents. Are they still around? What's one of your most favorite memories that you have of your grandma or your grandpa? And if they are still around, what kind of things do you enjoy doing with them? What do you guys do together? I've got plenty more grandma and grandpa stories. I could sit here all day. Well, like I said, let me know about your grandparents. Grandparents are some of the greatest blessings that we have. And I'm very thankful that I have my grandmother still. And I'm very thankful that I got to know my grandpa.